Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth.
And dance the skies on laughter's silvered wings.
Sunward I've climbed, and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds.
And done 100 things you have not dreamed of.
These are the voyages of the starship Erebus. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
And speaking of adding decades onto people's lives, welcome everyone to the much anticipated, I can't say long overdue. I can't say long overdue because we took a break. We took a little bit of a breaky poo here for myself and for everyone else, just to kind of like enjoy the holidays, chill, and just focus on some stuff outside. But it is 2024, and we are ready to play some Star Trek Adventures. Super excited about that. Really, this crew was the last stream for TTRPGs that I did before our very long break, and it's only fitting. I mean, really, if you look at it, if you just look at it, it's only fitting that we start this group as well. So very excited to be here, and as is tradition for 2024, the first stream of the season, the brand new year. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, good tidings to everyone. Let's go around the table, have everyone quickly reintroduce themselves, tell us what character they are playing, and you know what you're most looking forward to this season. Season 2, what you're most looking forward to. Yes, I'm going to throw another question at you. They're all like, but Wolf, you already asked your session intro question. How dare you? You're such a jerk. I'm like, yes, I'm the DM. It's my job. It's where they pay me the big bucks. But anyway, let's go around the table. We'll start with Matthew. We'll go to Aaron. We'll pivot over to Drew. We'll swing on down to Shmana Lamela Ding Dong. I don't know why I always say her name that way. It just makes me feel good because you're a good person. And we'll wrap it up with letter. And that is what we will do. And it'll be fantastic.
That's my name now.
Yes, letter.
Numeric.
Matthew, take it away.
Hello everyone, my name, as Wolf has pointed out, is Matthew. I play Shas Jathane, who is the ship's Andorian/Enar civilian science officer who is blind and sees through telepathy. In terms of what I'm looking forward to this season, on the meta level, just interacting with these fine people again and spending some time with them. Within the game itself, I'm looking forward to seeing how these characters play off each other and grow together.
Cheers. Aaron,
Beautiful.
Captain.
Yeah, well, thanks. You just told half the things that I was going to tell everybody. Thank you. I love you.
Your name is also Matthew, and you play the Andorian Enar science officer?
My name is Matthew. I mean Aaron. See, you can easily to mix us up because we're both Canadian. But anyway, I'm Aaron. I'm playing Captain Isra Shruth. He is the regular variant Andorian commanding officer of the USS Erebus. And what I'm looking forward most is just being back, man. It's been a long time, and I'm hyped to be back.
Cheers. Drew. Quickly about Drew. Drew is one of the oldest players that I have here, both in the amount of time that I've played with him and as a human being. Literally 1 foot in the grave. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Drew. You're beautiful. I'm gonna shut up now. Please, I'm stealing your thunder. Take it over. Take it back. Take your thunder back.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Flitz. I had forgotten several times before we started. I kept panicking, like, what the fuck am I playing in this game? I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Flitz, the android chief engineer, because I love chief engineers. It's a thing. I'm most looking forward to, well, I actually just finished eating, so I'm probably just gonna leave. Because there's no point in me
unwatchable.
Yeah, there's no point in me like staying if I'm not gonna like drive away.
No. Yeah, but I mean the thing is like he's now that person's going to complain he's not eating.
I mean, ideally, yeah, it's good. But anyway,
He missed being able to complain about it.
a man who
Mhm.
doesn't complain.
I'm really just looking forward to getting back in the groove with these guys, man. It's this is a good group, and I miss playing with y'all.
Good. Schmandy.
How you doing? My name is Shmandy, and I am playing Lieutenant Phelan, the Klingon head of security, former member of the Klingon Empire who then switched over to the Federation. I am also looking forward to seeing how our motley band starts to knock around against each other, see if there are any long-term developments, any kind of conflicts or whatnot that grow out of this. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Like mold. It's good, like grow like mold. Like that. Good. Letter. Take it away.
Hello, I am letter. That's fun to say. C4A, and I play Lieutenant Commander Stern, the Chief Medical Officer of this ship. I am a human, and me as myself am going to be playing with this questionable German accent. So let's go.
Excited for that. I like that. You're most excited about playing with questionable German
I am
accents.
most excited about saving Ordal's people.
Yes. We got to get back, though. You guys are very far away from where you started, so...
We could do it remotely. Sorry.
Just so long as she's not also the first officer, because that would break immersion.
Oh boy.
It's an old joke, but it checks out, sir.
Oh
Yes,
boy.
and of course I'm here, Wolf, the
You're gonna
illustrious
down
game master. Can I call myself illustrious? I don't know. But,
You can call yourself whatever you want.
That's
It's
true.
your channel.
It's true. But I don't want to be like a power hog person, right? Like it's my channel, but it's our experience. It's our experience. But speaking of experiences, when we last left off, our intrepid crew of the USS Erebus hazard team had traveled to a strange planet that you had been transported to, this singular planet around a singular star. And on the planet, you had found these powerful like power modules, I suppose you could call them. And you had discovered that these modules, these locations, these buildings, which were very pentagon-ish shaped, with these dodecahedrons inside of them, the weird swirling, oscillating things, you had realized it was some sort of prison holding someone or something. Like a long story short, this hazard team, led by the mighty and the honorable Phelan, entered in and discovered was a member of a Centaurum who had been locked away inside. He proceeded to turn into different people from their past, interact with them, ask pointed questions, and seeming to almost test them. What reason remains to be discovered, remains to be seen. But after so long, all set by a fire, explained what needed to happen for him to be released from the prison, and it was done. Now, during this experience, what had led you to this initial planet was this shockwave. There was this sector that had been ticking for a while, and eventually that ticking exploded. There was this massive shockwave, very Star Trek Voyager.
Six.
Yes, as it were. It's 6 sessions, I believe, or something like that. But anyway, with that being said, you guys have now reoriented yourself, returned to regular, normal space, and discovered you are tens of thousands of light years away from your original arrival position. It is going to take you many, many, many months to get back to where you were, if that is where you intend to head post-haste. But, in the interim, we open our scene, our little recap that we just did, we open our scene with a, much as we often do, exterior shot of the Erebus. The ship itself looks to be in pristine condition. Damage from this shockwave has been quickly repaired by engineering. You see a scene of Lieutenant Commander Flitz working alongside some of his engineering crew. You see that the Lieutenant Andrea Bronson has this sort of joyous look on her face as she is discussing something, holding a tablet with him. What it is we don't hear is we just hear this sort of intro music overlay, a very calm sort of orchestral piece, just kind of playing as we go through and see people move about like busy little worker bees. We pivot then over to one of the security training rooms where we see Lieutenant Phelan is working on some boarding drills with a number of different security personnel. We then cut to another scene where we see Shaz, the non-commissioned member of the crew, really, one might say, the inferior of the two types of Andorians, but it wouldn't be me that would say that, just some people might say that. But we see him in the Arboretum, this large garden, and he's playing the instrument that he often does, and there's actually a couple of folks, a couple of crew members that have come, and you've actually gained, Shaz, a little bit of a following on board the vessel. Different groups, about a dozen or so people that come and tend to listen to you whenever you play. They don't really bother you or anything. They just like to listen to the music that you make. And it's become a little bit of a meditation, a little bit of a hobby sort of thing for folks. We then see Captain Ishra. We then see Captain Ishra inside of his ready room, and there is a line of about a half a dozen or so folks waiting for him by the door, and it's just meeting upon meeting upon meeting. Most of these are different heads of different teams. We have a couple of lieutenants, etc., commanders and whatnot. They're just asking for your time, and there's a lot of questions of what we're going to do, some supply issues, etc. So we just see him looking perhaps slightly haggard, as this has been going on most of the day. Finally, we then pivot down all the way into the center of the ship to the main medical bay, where we see none other than Lieutenant Commander Stern, who is standing in front of a rather portly looking individual. This is the man. This is man, person, thing, they, them, I don't know. We're not sure. But this is Iwik, Iwik Iwik Wusanog. This is the member of the Centaurum, the Dohad Centaurum. To describe him to you once again, he is a rather larger fellow, very, very wide, not too tall, only about maybe about 5'5" tall. He has this sort of large, almost like feathery-looking eyebrows just above his eyes. His face is kind of comes to this like little like Fu Manchu sort of little tendrils that come down. He has white, what appears to be kind of a feathery beard, and his skin is more scaly as it comes back to these two horns that wrap around. He almost looks sort of serpentine a little bit in him, but he is holding on to this staff with this blue, slightly glowing orb, and he is sitting on one of the medical beds. Now, this has been a mere hours since he was resuscitated, popped up. There was talk about perhaps, lobotomizing him. I don't know. It was a weird situation. Some brilliant officer said, hey, why don't we give him his staff back? Don't remember exactly who it was, but really that guy deserves a commendation, I think, just, for saving this alien's life. Did what the doctor couldn't do. All right. But he is sitting there and he is looking directly towards the exit of the medical bay, and he is clicking his tongue. It's kind of this clicking noise. Click, click, click. Click, 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 click. And he looks to you and he says, "Can't go yet."
Not yet.
Why not?
Yeah, we are finishing all the tests.
You've run the tests several times.
We are finalizing them.
How long will that take?
It's going to take longer every time you ask.
What if it didn't have to?
But it does.
But you're a doctor. Head doctor on the ship, yes?
That is correct.
So you could make it take less time by, look at that one right there. Neurological, brain scan a lot, whatever that means. You could just cross that off the list, and then it would take less time, yes? Just bear with me. Bear with me in this moment. Just play a game. It's a game. We're playing a game together. Takes his staff, sets it on his lap, and he's talking with his hands. We're playing a game together. Just entertain me. I'm your patient. Yes, you're supposed to make sure I feel good. I'm sad right now. Let's make me happy. Play the game. So if you crossed That one. This other one, what is this? This is a bone density scan? Why? Why do we need that? My bones are fine. They're in my body. My bones are completely fine. All right? They're not outside of them. They're not broken. Don't need a bone density scan.
Harak can change that if requested.
Yes, not necessary, but thank you.
I might take you up on that, Harak.
That is rude. Unnecessary. But yes, so entertain me. Didn't do those.
Dr. Datig, would you like to take over this patient?
Oh, no.
Dr. Datig, you will be taking over this patient.
Will I?
Yes, I'll be in my office.
The alien
Did you just
turns
vilify her?
to Dr. Datig, smiles and says, "You look like a man. Get things done. This one, this one, this one, unnecessary." He begins to go down the list with Doctor to try to get these tests crossed off. But per the doctor's orders, it's required. Absolutely required. Unfortunately, it's absolutely required.
Your problem now.
That was amazing. So that's called delegation.
So,
Lieutenant Commander, that was amazing.
Datig's gonna sedate him.
That's brilliant. So the alien is just, he's just going on. He's like, "You don't need this one. You don't need this one. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, that feels nice." And just passes out.
Stern's gonna look up from her office and just be like,
Nicely done. Nicely done. Brilliant. Love that. Absolutely love that. So we'll take that scene and we're going to pivot away from that scene. I'd like to go over to Lieutenant Phelan. And I described that you were running some sort of security roles. Let's assume that those are done. You've got a little bit of free time before your next meeting with one of your heads of security, sort of squad leaders, I guess you could call them. What are you doing right now, Lieutenant Phelan? Where are you at on the ship? Let's follow you for a little bit.
I think Phelan is on his way back to his quarters. He is feeling a bit, for lack of a better word, homesick, or rather family sick. Because this last jump brought him even further away from his family than they had already been. So he is in the middle of kind of composing to himself a few lines of absolutely wretched Klingon poetry that he's writing. The first few verses are just for the longing for his home and how proud he will be to see how his children are growing. The last verse, he's waiting until he's in his quarters to actually start writing down, because those are the verse for his wife, and those are not appropriate for anyone else to see.
Absolutely disgusting and wonderful, and I love that journey for you. But as you're walking down one of the many hallways in the bowels of the Erebus, likely moving your way up to the second deck, the officers' quarters, or the ship, you are about to step into a turbo lift to actually take you up to the second deck. And as you round a corner to head to the turbo lift, you nearly run face first into none other than Ardal, who has a very similar expression of longing. And she's actually carrying a small little, what looks to be a model. Like, you know, you can put like ships in a bottle. This is not a ship in a bottle. It's a probe in a bottle, and it's a small little rendition of Voyager, the satellite that was launched, that you guys had found on her planet, right? And it's there, and she's got a little thing, and she runs into you. I need you to go ahead and give me a fitness security, because you bumped so hard that she drops it. And let's see if you can go ahead and catch it, or if it shatters on the floor. Fitness security difficulty of 2.
This would not count as hand-to-hand combat.
You know what? I'll give it to you, because it's session 1, and I'm feeling
cool. Yeah. All right. Come on, big money.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, you hate to see it. So you round the corner, He's like, she was so focused on it. You're so focused on your smut poetry, like that you don't see each other. And you round, it's just boom. Your data pad goes flying, goes into the air. It's slow motion, twirling through the air. She reaches out. You watch as the bottle, the little Voyager is spinning inside, and you just hear this. And then it smashes into the wall, shatters, sending the little plastic
Just like her
pieces
heart.
and bits of glass everywhere, and she falls to her knees, reaching for it, and just looks defeated. Absolutely defeated. And she is speechless. She is
got
trying
fucked
to
up.
pick up the little pieces of glass. The little Voyager model is just it's shattered. Luckily, we have replicators, so she could probably just make a new one. But this one, she made by hand, made by hand, and she's just trying to pick it up. And as she's trying to pick it up, she cuts herself. She's like, "Oh, that's smart." And your data pad is cracked. And give me a. I'm going to ask you for high or low.
Low.
Bad news: the data pad is corrupted, and your smut poetry is lost to the universe.
Okay.
Not my dirty poetry.
Your dirty
What
poetry is lost.
What
Can we
if?
rename this episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we renaming it? That's my question.
Not my smut.
Not my smut
Not
poetry.
not without my smut poetry.
Star Trek 3: The Search for Smut.
Oh, there's a black hole for that. But anyway, we're moving on. All right.
Oh boy!
So bad. Wow.
Wow.
Good night, everybody.
There are some terrible jokes to make about that.
Executive producer Gene Roddenberry.
Mhm. Phelan,
I'm gonna play
after-
my Orion for that character for that episode.
Balon, go ahead.
after a moment of like realizing what just happened, he will kneel and forgive me my carelessness. I have disgraced myself and caused you harm. This is unbecoming of me. May I help you?
There's a beat before she responds. Response is very meek, very quiet. No, it's not you. It's me. I should have been watching where I was going, and I was so focused on my model, and I think I broke your data pad, and I'm sorry. I hope there was nothing important on it. It picks it up and hands it to you, Phelan, and the screen is flickering, and you just see like a couple of Klingon words, none that should be repeated in mixed company,
Yeah,
but just
he
colors
will
flashing.
just kind of. A data pad can be repaired or replaced if necessary.
I just stupid, and she picks up like one of the little like wings, I guess you'd call it, like one of the little solar panels of like the Voyager model, and it's like cracked in half. A couple of the panels fell out. She's just looking at it. She's like, I've been missing home. I found out how far away we were, and I was so happy because the doctor said we had all the pieces to fix my home. I know this is supposed to be my home, but I don't know how to describe it. I just feel sad. I feel as though there is a longing inside of me, a hole, something missing, and the farther away we are from that place, the planet where I spent all of my life before this, the bigger it feels. Probably sounds stupid to you.
It does not. I must admit I know something of the feeling. I have left 2 homes in my life. One I hope to return to upon the end of this voyage. The other I will likely never see again. I know that longing, and it is nothing to be ashamed of. Fortunately, the pain of that longing can be not healed, but at least lessened with good companions. I see you are injured. We should take you to the medical bay.
She looks down at her hand. It's just a small little cut on her palm, and she nods and says, "All right. I think we could do some sparring later, Lieutenant Fan."
I believe so. I think you are. Your lessons have come along. I think it is about time that you learn how to operate a mechleth.
I don't know what that is, but I'm excited.
You will find out soon enough.
Two of you.
Now, I believe we can sweep up some of this glass, and I believe that we might be able to find some adhesive for this model.
You mean glue?
Yes.
Okay. And there's a little bit of more of a pep in her voice as you two sweep up the glass and then make your way down to medical to fix things up. I'd like to pivot over to two characters, actually. Two characters. Captain Ishra, you have been in meeting upon meetings, and you have just gotten a request to come down to main engineering by Lieutenant Commander Flitz. Now, Lieutenant Commander Flitz, I'd like to know from you, why did you request the captain's presence in main engineering? Now, this is good for you, Captain, because it gets you away. It was an emergency. He needed you right away, all right? Lieutenant Commander Flitz, what was the emergency that you called him down to main engineering for?
There's a pinhole rupture in the multiphasic thermal flux stabilizer.
Oh God, that could be serious. Very serious.
It could be.
That is likely what you and your lieutenant, good old lieutenant, just discussing. This is Andrea Bronson. Just discussing it. And it's something where you've caught it early enough to where it won't be a major problem, but if you don't get, what's the material you need? What kind of material do you need that the ship is, for some reason, because it's plot effective, dangerously low on?
Let's see. Non-linear tachyon flux.
Ooh, you need some nonlinear tachyon flux. And what's interesting is that material is oftentimes found near black holes. It is. It's weird how that works out. It's almost as if the story just wants us to go to a black hole. I don't know. It's weird how that works out. So just
Computer, initiate self-destruct. 5 minutes silent countdown. May God have mercy on your souls.
Absolutely brilliant.
Everybody,
So, Captain Nitro, you have been in meeting upon meeting. Most of it was relatively mundane, just status reports, this and that. But it's kind of like that scene in Parks and Rec where all of the
Ron, all of his meetings got scheduled for the same day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
happened to you, Captain. So this is for you, more than likely, a much needed break away from the monotony of, well, sir, you see, we've got some complaints about the replicators, right? And there's the coffee's a little bit bland.
Right, the coffee,
Yes.
yes.
So we're wondering if we can make the coffee less
Not
bland.
so bland,
Yes,
yes.
good.
I
yes.
got
See,
that,
The
yes.
first officer shown us about how to make the French press coffee, but
Right,
every
but
time we do it in the synthesizer, I mean the replicator, it never comes out the same. But anyway, so you've had a lot of those meetings all day. So you step into main engineering, which is the folks moving around, they're working, there's no panic or anything. You see Flitz standing next to Andrea Bronson. Andrea is just in the middle, and she sort of in the middle of a sentence, and she says, just like you said, Commander Flitz, we're going to need to find some of this nonlinear tachyon
Flux.
and if we don't, I was going to finish, sir. I needed a breath in the middle of the sentence. I know you have to breathe, but Captain, see you.
Yeah, hello, Lieutenant. Yes, Commander, you. And he looks really happy. He's like, you wanted to see me.
Yes, Captain. It appears that the multiphasic thermal flux stabilizer has a pinhole leak and has been venting the tachyon flux into space, and we're almost out.
Okay. How long has this been going on?
It would appear
Yeah,
since
I'm gonna have you make a
Hmm.
insight engineering check, difficulty of 1.
Come on, let's get some momentum.
can it be a reason in engineering check?
Ah, fine. You always want your reason. I want to make it harder for you, and you're like, fine, it's all right. It makes more sense anyway. I was just being contrary.
Cool. I get a free success on that. 2d20. Would my focus of the Regent class starship
yes.
be?
Oh, 100% it would. Absolutely, sir.
Oh,
I'll buy that for $1.
That's a couple momentum right there.
See it? Hold on. Ah, very good. 2 momentum. You, I believe Matthew, you were taking care of momentum. Thank you very much for doing so. So yes, this has been going on likely since you arrived inside of the Tau galaxy, inside of this distant galaxy, and it's likely for lack of a better phrase, manufacturer's defect, which should hit
That
home
happens.
for you, Lieutenant Commander Flitz, because you oversaw the construction of the USS Erebus. So this is weird. This is weird that this is, some might even call it, and I don't want to be cheeky about this, but some might call this odd. It's a very odd sort of situation that's happening. Yeah, it's very odd.
Captain, it appears that it has been leaking since construction was finished. It appears to be a defect in the manufacture of the starship. I, of course, take full responsibility, as that system was actually one of my responsibilities during the Erebus's construction.
But would the internal sensors not have picked that up?
It was a very small leak, and
So
it's generally not something that we would scan for.
all right, so our unstable tachyons are nearly exhausted.
Unfortunately, yes.
All right. Well, I have some reports here. Nearby sectors, and he stops as he looks through his data pad. This isn't my. Oh God! What? We'll get the sensor readings.
Is there something wrong, Captain? What's on your pad?
It's you don't want to see what's on this pad.
Lieutenant Bronson leans over and goes, "Is that Klingon?"
It seems to be.
I really do want to see what's on that pad now.
No, this seems to be this seems to be a communication of a deeply personal nature.
Are you trying to save my? Are you trying to?
No, I'm.
Are you trying
to
to coddle my sensibilities?
Commander,
I'm an
I'm
android.
trying to. Yes, but Commander, I'm trying to preserve the privacy and dignity of one of my officers.
But it looks juicy.
That is one
And
of the lines of
I've been working on my
Please,
gossip subroutines.
Right.
And
So
I
would appreciate it if you never said that word again.
Gossip subroutine.
And we will work on getting those sensor readings, but I think I saw a black hole on the readout. As a matter of fact, let's use the auxiliary station over here and check the sensor readings right now and never talk about this again.
You know what's interesting is that particular console uses those nonlinear tachyons to function, so it's non-functional right now. But it's a great opportunity for us to pivot over to the astrometrics lab, where a certain Shaz is hanging out with one of my favorite characters that I haven't had a chance to play yet. Really, just
Dr. Haraj.
the salt of the earth, down to earth guy. This is Ensign Taval. He is a no-nonsense Klingon, and by Klingon I mean Vulcan. So very different species, but that's fine. I was just thinking about Klingon poetry again. It's weird. That works out. I love how every session we have something we just latch onto. And you're just the man, Schmandy, for giving us that opportunity. You crazy hound dog. But you are in the process. Shaz, of running some scans of the local region of space that you find yourself in, and you've picked up 3 sectors, 3 solar systems that seem to have active stars, number of active planets, planets in the Goldilocks zone, the habitable zone, as well as something that's interesting just to your sort of galactic southwest, because cardinal directions are the only thing that my mind can understand, but to the galactic southwest of your position on the particular star chart that you have as you are correlating and calculating. There is a rather large black hole that seems to have three solar systems that are in a very slow, very stable orbit around it. So they are solar systems orbiting around stars, the planets around stars, and those stars are orbiting around the black hole. And they are in that area where it's not sinking in, it's not flying out, it's a perfect stable orbit as the galaxy slowly spins as well around its center black hole, which like all galaxies do. And it's an interesting sort of phenomenon, right? You've never seen anything quite like it, but it's very interesting to see. And you're picking up a multitude of readings. But as we're going to pick up this scene, Taval is in the middle of running some calculations, and he stops for a moment, and he says, Shaz, Dr. Shaz, forgive me, I have not worked directly with you too many times. What would be a proper title, sir?
And Shaz just sort of takes his hands away from the console. You can see that it's been tuned to have a kind of braille readout on the surface. And he looks over towards the Vulcan, his antenna kind of deflating slightly. Doctor would be the appropriate way of addressing me, but I have no objection to you simply calling me Shaz. That's fine.
It seems inappropriate to refer to you by your first name. I shall stick with Dr. Shaz, if that is acceptable to you, sir.
Well, if we're going to be formal, then it would be Dr. Chithane, but...
Then perhaps informal, it shall be Shaz.
I don't see why that would change matters, but very well. That's...
Very good. I wanted to bring these readings to your attention, sir. I've noticed this black hole seems to be giving off some strange energy readings. Some of them seem to be pulsating outward, yet simultaneously pulling inward, as though someone is both inflating and deflating a balloon simultaneously. Could you take a look at these? Go ahead and give me a insight and science as you look into them, but ask a question.
So at that, his kind of antenna stand up a little bit, and he sits up a little bit straighter. Rest assured, I may not be a member of Starfleet, but my academic credentials are impeccable. You needn't use fanciful and inventive metaphors to explain scientific phenomenon to me as if I was the captain.
Forgive me, sir. I have gotten used to explaining things to humans and other species in simple terms, something that my counselor recommended I do to be more approachable.
It's a frustration that I understand, so you needn't apologize.
Thank you, sir.
So that was a science, and
That's gonna be let's do a reason science.
Yeah. A-hole?
Yes.
I'll spend
I was
one
gonna say,
momentum.
Is that his focus? Being an a-hole?
Difficulty on this was a 2, so you've made it. Very good, very good. Now, what's interesting about this black hole is that you have theorized that there are such things called white holes that push matter away. Obviously, there are black holes that pull. It's a significant amount of gravity, right? It's a central point where space time is warped and everything is pulled towards. Space time is pulled in, right? This black hole is not functioning like most normal black holes that just have this huge gravitational pull as it warps space time and pulls everything towards, right? This black hole, if it was on a flat plane, and that's the way we can represent space, and you put something heavy, it contorts this plane and things roll towards it, right? This black hole is bouncing. So for a moment, it sinks in, pulls things towards it. Another moment, it seems to, depending on when you're reading it. So you look at the readings, you look away, you look back. It is almost like ticking, like a metronome. It pulls in, it pushes out, pulls in, pushes out. Now, what is strange is that it's not changing any sort of coloring. You're not getting like a sort of like a pulsar where you're seeing like light shooting out from it or anything like that. It's just pulls in, pushes out, pulls in, almost like a metronome, or a way to describe it, to use simple captain terms, like a heartbeat.
As a free question, could I ask, is there any evident correlation between its period of oscillation and the orbits of the planets? In other words, is there some kind of like synchronicity between how they are functioning in terms of their orbits and how the black hole is oscillating?
Yes. Yes, there is. There is something. It is a 3-second pulse. So it's like thump, 1, 2, 3, thump, 3. And you notice that there are 3 systems orbiting it. They're not equal distance away from each other. They're all on one side, but it's like there seems to be some sort of correlation between the pulse and the speed at which they're moving. And as you start to like analyze some of the data, you're seeing that as it pulls in, the rotation of these systems seems to slow slightly. It's minuscule amounts, right? Because we're talking light years and light years of time of space. It takes them, 1,000 years to go around an orbit of this black hole, right? But you can see a slight increase in their momentum and then a slight decrease. But it's enough to keep them in this sort of stable pivot swirl around this black hole. Does that make sense?
Generally, yes.
I'll ask more questions if you're my best here.
No, I think that's fine.
I'm not a scientist. Just a streamer.
Nor am I. I just techno-babble on a stream.
Yes. So it's yeah, you're thinking it might have something to do with the reverse. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't have to do with it. I just wanted to click it. Feels good.
So what's that?
A little dopamine hit when I click the button.
Yes. So Shas just sort of arches a brow at that data readout that he observes using the telepathic impression that he has of the room around him, and says, fascinating. I imagine we should report this to the captain. I've never seen anything even remotely akin to this. The oscillating period of the black holes, or he kind of cocks his head, white hole, both simultaneously. It's unclear at this time. It seems to be related to the orbital period of the planets. I think this bears further investigation.
At the very least, Mr. Shaz, it seems that it is of a scientific importance, or at least significance, and I agree with your assessment that it should be brought to the captain's attention. Might I also recommend a simple metaphor to help explain it to him? Perhaps a heartbeat or metronome.
I am gaining some experience in communicating relatively complex scientific phenomenon and their function to the mentally indolent, but I will take that suggestion under advisement. I think it's an excellent metaphor, although somewhat inelegant.
Very good, sir. He goes back to his console.
There is, however, of course, the humanitarian issue. we don't really have time to investigate this phenomenon, considering that we should be heading back to the Akal.
That is quite the conundrum, sir. Something that should likely be discussed with the senior staff.
I'm discussing it with you. I'm curious as to your opinion and your dispassionate Vulcan perspective.
Tilts his head to the side for a moment, squinting his eyes ever so slightly, looking up at the astrometric readout before you, seeing these 4 different systems that appear to be the galactic south of your position, which is the direction you need to head to get back towards the Akal. He says, logically speaking, the amount of time it will take us to return to the planet of the Akal will go beyond the amount of time that they have left on the planet. Based on the readings that I was able to analyze, their planet is close to dying if it has not already died. To rush back to there would likely be futile to attempt. I see no reason to bypass some sort of grand scientific discovery in the hope it might save their already doomed lives. Respectfully, sir.
Do we not have an obligation to at least make the attempt? After all, it is probable that their world will not survive the journey back, the time that it will take. And yet, if the chance exists, this phenomenon has been here, presumably, and he sort of double checks the readouts, for many millions of years. It can wait.
Considers this. If we are speaking in theoretical, there's also a chance that this phenomenon could assist us in some way in returning to that sector of space more quickly if we simply made our way there directly. But then again, this is all just theoretical. We don't know what is to happen, sir.
One rarely does. Thank you, Lieutenant, for your perspective.
Ensign, sir. Not of Starfleet, I have not achieved the rank of lieutenant quite yet.
I also happen to be blind, he says as he taps at his eyes, so I'm not entirely certain as to the pips that you're wearing, but I apologize, Ensign.
Apology accepted and unnecessary, sir. Will there be anything else?
I don't believe so. Thank you, Ensign.
Very good. I have a meeting with my counselor. She should be rather pleased to hear of my progress. Stands up, sits out, and heads towards his counselor.
And it just sort of ends with Shaw's cocking his head, putting his chin in his hand. Why does he need a counselor?
Age issues. Dun, dun, dun. All right, perfect. So, we've got a couple of plot threads that we've put together here. I'd like to leave it open. Where do you guys want to take this next? What do we want our next scene to be? Anybody wants to jump in? If I don't hear anything from anybody, then I will obviously take the reins once more. I'd like to know, where do you guys want to go with this?
Well, considering that the black hole produces a material that the ship currently needs, without which we wouldn't make it to the Akal homeworld anyway. So we'll probably just go over there, but maybe we can have a senior staff meeting.
Like that. That's the captain calls
Everybody.
a senior staff meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And just on the way in, he's just going to stop Lieutenant Phelan first and be like, here. And hand him the data pad.
Yeah, he just kind of like, you did not see this.
I didn't see what, Lieutenant?
I wish I didn't see this.
Thank you, sir.
First officer enters into conference room, and he has replicated several small little handout booklets, and it just says poetry on it. And he hands one to Lieutenant Phelan,
Little
smiles,
shit.
walks over to Lieutenant Commander Stern, says, hands one, and just walks over and he hands a couple out. He's been handing them out in the hallway. And he takes a seat and he just flips it open, starts reading.
And the
Commander Ulrich,
What's this so excited?
are you familiar with Klingon death rituals?
Oh yes, I just figured folks might like some Walt Whitman. He's very witty. Just Walt Whitman. So
I will see you in the gymnasium in an hour.
I look forward to it. Lieutenant Phelan. He can't help but giggle. He can't. He can't. By the way, high or low?
And I will see you in the med bay in 2 hours.
Oh my god. High or low, Schmandy?
Let's go. Let's stick with low. Why not?
Fantastic. Only the first officer, the captain, got copies of it, but he's definitely gonna fuck with you a little bit about it. All right, definitely gonna fuck with you. He likes to play pranks. He's still trying to get you to laugh. He hasn't yet, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. He was hoping that might do it, but he was wrong. So, Captain, you have called a senior staff meeting. You have all of your officers and some random normie with you. So let's take it away.
And the long and the short of it is that we need to reach this black hole in order to harvest unstable tachyons due to a manufacturer's defect, Commander Flitz believes.
Yes, again, I do apologize for my oversight during the construction of the ship. This should not have happened.
Well, be that as it may, nobody's perfect. Now, I know that we are all on something of a time crunch as it pertains to the Akal. So, for the moment, we will only conduct surface scans of the surrounding sectors. We will not take time for in-depth analysis.
It might also be possible for us to leave behind some preliminary probes. We could fire them while we're still at warp. It wouldn't take any additional time away from our journey back.
That's an excellent idea, Mr. Chithane. Would you please see to that?
Of course, Captain.
Captain, if I may, have we calculated the amount of time it's actually going to take us to return back to the original sector of space we arrived in?
Well, is that accurate? 120 light years?
120 light years.
That's like 3 days.
Well,
Maximum warp.
it's going to be longer than that because I don't know how long. I don't understand. So it's like it's going to take you like a couple of months is what it's looking like. At least 3. Okay. So let me just go here. Let's go to this thing.
Just put that to 12,000.
Yeah, just put it to
A
there you
couple
go.
of zeros on that.
Let's go ahead and do this.
Check.
Hold on.
Where are y'all looking?
Hold on. Let me just do this.
It's fine.
Get out the warp speed calculator.
This and...
Ugh.
All right,
Which one? That's a big question.
It's 120,000 light years away.
Why?
Okay,
That
will take us 120 years.
That's about 80 years. Yeah, 90 years.
Okay, it's not that far then. How far should it be, all right?
Somewhere between 3 days and 80 years.
Doesn't
Conveniently far.
Hold on,
It is a plot convenient.
It is, yeah.
Hold on,
length of time.
No.
We might
is-
get there Monday. We might get there after
It's
we're all dead.
12,000 light years away.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All
There
right.
you go. So
It's about as far away as this kitty is from my heart, which is not very far. Look at her.
okay.
So,
So
good.
we're already
You're
there.
already there. You've made it.
Already there.
Big
Yeah.
caller safe.
Are we
Good
living
game.
on a prayer?
Yes.
Probably.
Back to the scene here. He asks, have we calculated how long it's going to take us to get back?
And yeah, let's just let's say that we have, GM, for the sake
Months.
of what?
If you beeline it, make your way directly there. No stops.
No stops and no anomalies, no delays. 90 days.
Do they have that much time?
It's impossible to say. It might already be too late, quite frankly.
Is there a way to use the black hole's ability to bend space-time to get us back there faster, or, well, I'm loath to suggest it, get us back there while we are still technically in transit to our current location?
The tachyon phenomena associated with black holes has oftentimes been theorized to allow for some degree of time travel. But this black hole is unlike any that we've encountered in our own galaxy. It may, I theorize, in fact be some sort of artificial construct designed for a purpose, given what we've seen of other megastructures and bizarre astrological phenomenon, pocket galaxies or pocket universes. Anything's possible. I would be loath to try to manipulate it without better understanding it.
Commander Flitz, how long to repair this defect and replenish our supply of tachyons?
3 days.
We would have to
Or 80 years.
spend 3 days at the black hole to mine the tachyons.
All right, and within that 3 days, the defect can be repaired?
I've already repaired the defect.
Oh, perfect. Well, then...
Or Lieutenant Bronson has repaired the defect.
Then we have 3 days to learn all we can about this phenomena and determine if there is a way that we can utilize it. Otherwise, we will be setting a course for maximum warp back to the Akal homeworld in 72 hours.
Given the time-sensitive nature of the investigation, do I have your permission to activate reserve science officers and request that they pull double or even triple shifts? That may necessitate, and he turns to the doctor, the use of some minor stimulants. Captain, Doctor?
I was waiting.
I'm waiting for you. I don't know.
I was waiting for you.
So he looks back and
Oh my
forth
god, you
between
go
them.
first. No, you.
You.
I'm sorry, have I run afoul of some element of the chain of command, or?
No, not at all. You have full discretion to use any resources not designated for life support and engineering, including any and all disused modular laboratories.
Thank you, Captain.
Captain, you have a data pad that is in front of you. There's some data on it, not Klingon poetry, but
Okay.
as you sort of instinctively reach down towards it, you feel not a data pad, but there is a bright orange where your data pad was.
Did somebody swap my data pad for this orange? I don't do well with citrus foods. Don't agree with me.
Also doesn't match our complexion.
No, none of my humor algorithms have been programmed with citrus-based humor.
Perhaps this is the workings of our Centaurum guest.
Shas is just staring at the first officer.
Puts his hands up. This one was not me. I not really an orange guy. Sorry.
I
There's no
prefer.
smut, but there's linen.
As you
I prefer
look
apple.
at the first officer, there's a moment, and the first officer himself is a man of mid 30s, probably like 32, 33. So he's just beyond his 20s, but he rose pretty relatively fast, all things considered. But as you look at him, you notice he's got a lot more gray in his hair. It's kind of like it's like a blondie, sort of like, more like a blondie brown, kind of like a dirty blonde kind of color, right? There's a lot more gray in it, and you see that he's got like, suddenly has like a white, sort of like scruffy looking like chins, like beard, like he's got, right? And he just looks a little older than he did a few moments ago, which is weird.
Hmm.
Why are you all staring at me?
And he'll just like point behind him. There's like an L-Cars panel that's off, so the glass is just reflective.
Franz looks at it and goes, "What? Don't. What are we looking at?"
You have lost the pigment in your hair.
I have. So, seems genuinely confused. I look the same to me. All right. I know I play a lot of practical jokes, but this is weird, and I don't know where you're with it. So, I mean, good job. You've confused me. I mean, which is part of humor, confusing people, right? That's what I haven't tried. I gotta try to confuse him sometimes. Situational. That's the good one, right? Yeah, it's good. It's good, right? Your comm badge chirps, Captain.
You'll tap it and go ahead.
Is there? Lieutenant Phelan, your comm badge chirps.
Security.
Lieutenant Phelan, this is a person that I'm feeling very. I'm feeling very very odd. Now my back really hurts, and I tried to open a crate of phasers, and it was just filled with oranges. Was there like a mix-up with supply or something? And you hear someone shout in the background, "Ah, my hip!" And you hear like somebody fall.
You're not hip, you're old.
He's square. Captain, I believe that this phenomenon is recurring all over the ship now.
Captain, your data pad no longer an orange. Back to being a data pad.
I pull out a
Command-
tricorder.
Commander
You pull out a tricorder, you said? Give me one second. 68. Your tricorder is a banana.
Is this humor?
No, that's a banana.
That was humor.
No, it wasn't. But it was an attempt.
No, it was an observation.
Looking back to the first officer, he looks normal again.
Okay.
So, Dr. Chaz, can you give me a quick insight science? Difficulty of 2.
Question: would testing a theory apply?
Absolutely.
Because okay, well, does this relate to the black hole? In other words, okay.
Hashtag no spoilers.
So that gives me extra die. Insight and science. Probably not. Applicable focus, no.
Fantastic. You gain 1 momentum. And you take quick note that things that are changing seem to be happening in groups of 3. All right? He got old, there was an orange, there's a banana, and then everything seems to switch back in about 3 seconds later. It's very quick. He's holding a banana, you blink, it's now a tricorder. There's definitely some sort of correlation to the pulsing of the black hole, the white hole, the weird warp time of space, as well as what's happening on the ship itself. Make sense?
Yes. Well, it makes no sense, but
Good.
the connection makes sense.
Good, yes. Fusional, as I was trying to do.
Yeah. Shas will share that observation regarding the periodicity of the pulsations or inversions of the black hole / white hole / whatever this phenomenon is, and the odd occurrences that they're observing here.
That well, we need to test that correlation is not necessarily causation.
It would be really rather coincidental.
Are you suggesting we abandon the scientific method, Doctor?
Making reasonable inferences is entirely legitimate. The periodicity of the black hole or white hole matching precisely with the appearance of these bizarre phenomena on board our vessel as we approach it, I think that's grounds for reaching a conclusion, at least one that we can test.
I certainly tend to agree.
Perhaps
we best do that.
Give me your best old lady Lieutenant Commander Stern voice. I want like German old lady voice. Because you now look like you're about 72.
I don't even know if I could do like a normal old lady voice.
You just gotta get a little crackly in the back of your voice here. Old prospector.
No, but don't. But
yeah,
less.
There's gold in them dark hills.
Less 1864 prospector.
Those chickens.
I can't beat that. Just
give them a lazy eye.
Well, the password on the door is the same as the year, 1864.
Come on, you can do it, Stern. I believe in you. Come on, you can do it. Do it.
I can't.
Do it. Give me your best old-timey prospector.
She's got the hat on with the flap on the front. Like, oh, just
my moonshine.
That was good.
Pickaxe.
We got it. My moonshine.
She comes up with like overalls and like a pickaxe.
Yeah.
Singing "Oh Susanna."
Oh yeah.
Her voice, mine shine. My shine.
Going,
That's great, dude.
going down the hall in a hand cart. Just
Absolutely.
I will chance a butter.
I will chance a butter. I will chance a butter. You gotta throw like a couple like in there as well. That's what you gotta do.
Sure.
So, to sort of paint the picture here for you guys a little bit
Your
more,
grandparents not do that.
to give you a little more context. So, different things on the ship are turning into other things. So far, it's been relatively mundane, but it should quickly come to your attention that if something vital or important was to undergo the effects of this, perhaps a nacelle, the warp core itself, really anything super vital could have catastrophic effects. As if to heighten the true danger that you find yourselves in, the power on the ship fluctuates for a moment, like a quick little brownout. The lights dim, emergency lighting comes on, seconds go by, the lights come back up. Lieutenant Commander Flitz, you get a quick little combat chirp. It is Lieutenant Andrea Bronson, who is saying, "Sir, the strangest thing just happened. One of the power conduits turned into a screaming goat for a second. It was very upset and then turned back. We've got some minor damage, but we're quickly repairing it, sir. Power should be restored to full functionality in about 6 minutes."
That sounds bad.
Lieutenant, I I would be remiss in my responsibilities as the chief engineer if I didn't ask you, are you fucking with me?
Would that I was, sir. I've been taking some situational humor classes with the first officer. This isn't one of those times.
Good. My tricorder just turned into a banana and then back.
Weird
so
joke, sir.
It's not an isolated incident. Would that it was, Lieutenant.
Would that it was, sir. Yes.
I'm scanning now that my tricorder is not a banana again. And I tell her, take as many readings as you can. See if you can catch these transformations. If you can, try to not startle the goats next time.
Bleep! Bleep! Oh, God, it's happening again. I'll be back with you, sir. Bleep! Bleep! It starts bleeding.
Flit stands up and looks over at the captain. Perhaps I should...
Is that better, Drill? Sorry, 1 second. Am I closer, Drill? I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe I need to talk louder. Try not to peek. But anyway. Yes, so you were saying. Forgive me, Lieutenant Commander Flitz.
Captain, perhaps I should return to engineering?
Somebody catch that goat! It's a power conduit!
I'm going back to engineering, Captain.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Does anyone have a pad? I need to look up animal handling.
Give me a D20 roll. That's funny. Yeah, that's really funny. Is it the webcam mic? Let's find out. Properties.
I can hear you just fine.
You sound.
Oh, you know what? You know what? It was going through. It was going through my. That's so weird. Thank you for pointing that out, Drill. It was going through my webcam mic for some reason. Oh, that's so weird. Do I sound better, Drill?
It sounds
exactly the same.
There he is. Yeah, to you guys because it's going through that, but for the stream, apparently I was going through my web camera. My bad. There it is. I had this nice microphone I wasn't even using. That's funny. So, long story short, things are turning into other things. Conduits are turning into goats. There's a group of penguins that were found running around. People are getting old, breaking hips, and then turning young again. It's a whole thing, right? It is a whole thing. Sorry about that. I don't know why. Quick aside, Slobs just likes to change your settings even though you didn't change them. Don't know why it does that, but here's where we're at. So there you go. Penguins. Yeah. Oof. Broken hips. Feeling wrong. I think I noticed briefly at the start of the stream and then dismissed it. No, it's good. All right, so we're back. Deerwolf is now loud again. I'm super Gucci. Just the entire... You know what? It wouldn't be a Deerwolf stream if there wasn't a tech issue. Let's be real, right? Like, something's got to mess up. It's a scuff that gives it the charm. So, how would you guys like to proceed? What is the game plan for the crew of the Erebus to deal with this strange twitching phenomenon? This, some might say, the old, the odd, the old, and the orange frontier that you find yourselves on. It's the name of the episode. There it is. Everybody drink a Coke.
He said the name.
Yeah, everybody owes me a Coke.
Con saves.
Con saves? Give me some death saves. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. As is tradition.
I mean, I think that Shas is going to head to the bridge and begin to use the sensor array to try to determine what kinds of bizarre energy is bombarding the vessel to see if we can modulate the shields in order to defend against that, or at least learn something about this phenomenon.
Love that. So Shaz heads to the main bridge. Let's start making some checks, Shaz. Let's give us a control science. And the difficulty on this is going to be a 3. A little bit more complex. And we're going to see what kind of information you can garner.
Would anyone mind if I spent those 2 momentum?
Take it.
No, not at all.
Give me a threat.
No, because I have testing a theory that gives me 1 extra dice, and then the 2 momentum gives me a 4th die. Sensor operations focus.
Can the captain assist?
Absolutely.
That's control science?
Yeah.
And I'll do 1d20.
Matthew with the pro strats, always. We love to see it. Nice. You get a momentum back. All right, Matthew. So, a couple things. There is so imagine you have this flat sheet. You have this bowling ball that you put on it. But as you put the bowling ball on it, somebody at the end pulls the sheet, and the bowling ball pops back up. And then it sinks down and pops back up. But that's also creating these rippling waves of space-time. What you realize is that space-time itself, space, is sort of like waves on the ocean. And as you start to analyze this data, you realize you could likely get the ship to, for lack of a better term, we're using captain terminology here, you could sail through the waves instead of crashing into them. As of right now, these ripples and waves from this white hole, black hole, this kind of pulsating phenomenon, right, are crashing into the ship in roughly 3-second increments, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, crashes into them, 1, 2, 3. If you were to, instead of crash, ride them, it would likely lessen the effects or completely neutralize them. So something you can take into consideration. You also have a free question.
Given the sensor readings that I've taken now of the black hole, its effects, is this a naturally occurring phenomenon or is it artificial? Can I make that determination?
It feels too stable. It seems to be too stable to be natural. Now, there's not to say that it isn't, but your gut, you're a smart individual, your gut's telling you there's something manufactured about this.
As a second question, so that I can activate a few of my other talents later on, based on the readings that I've taken of the artificial sort of universe that was created by the Centaurum, and my increased familiarity with their technology, the energy readings that are being put off by the black hole, etc., if this is artificial, are there any signs that it would be something that they constructed?
You remember the dodecahedron tesseract honeycomb you guys ran into?
Absolutely.
It reminds you of that. Vaguely. It feels... A black hole is a lot of energy, right? Being sucked in, warping and whatnot. If you were able to harness that, like literally think about like the black hole for the... What are they called again? The Romulans? They use the miniature black holes.
Artificial
right?
quantum singularities.
Yeah. It's like that, but dialed up to 11. Okay? So, yeah, it could be. You'd have to get closer, though. These are all long-range scans, right? You'd have to get closer to really to see it, maybe with the naked eye, get some better scans with short-range sensors that'll be more accurate, but it's definitely possible.
So Shas will rise from his chair and sort of cross over to the tactical console or the band that runs sort of behind the captain's chair. He'll brace his hands against it, lean down over the console. Captain, I believe I've developed several hypotheses regarding the phenomenon that we've encountered and a way of counteracting its effects.
By all means. What have you found?
The initial metaphor that was proposed by my assistants appears to have been offered injudiciously. Taval likened the black hole phenomenon to a beating heart. It's more like the tide. There are waves coming in on the shore, and we're being dragged under with each successive wave. If we instead match the oscillation of the warp field to the periodicity of the black hole, we would be able to, well, rise and fall with the waves as we approached it.
as though it's some kind of... Why do these always work, these metaphors, but as though we had some kind of ballast?
Precisely.
Then draw up a list of what you need and communicate with main engineering.
And he just sort of winces, shaking his head. As long as we don't enter the black hole and then begin treating its surface as a frozen pond's surface, and then crack the surface in order to leave the black hole. You've heard of that story that the Voyager crew concocted?
Yes, but they used like zippers and peeling bananas and the many food metaphors and...
Regardless, I will relay this information to engineering, and I'm certain that they will be able to construct this ballast.
Thank you. I was hoping that our mission would have a little more dignity.
And at the mention of dignity, two things happens. Captain, where are you presently?
The captain's in his command chair.
Okay. A group of geese, like a flock of geese, one of the turbolifts opens, and I'm talking like half a dozen geese come out, just walk across behind Shaz to the other turbolift. It opens, they walk on, the doors close, the honking stops, and that is that scene. That is that scene, which is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Lieutenant Commander Stern, Lieutenant Phelan, you guys exited the meeting together. I'd like to have a moment with the two of you just walking down the hallway. Perhaps you're in silence. Perhaps it's just a really awkward silence as you two walk together. But we don't see you two together that often. I'm curious if you'd have anything to say to each other, any thoughts, any insight. Also, as you're walking down the hallway, you look all the way down the hallway, and you're certain you saw run past one of the corridors a gnome in a red hat. Like, I'm talking like it ran in the middle of the hallway, went, ha ha ha, and then ran away. Okay? Like, did this weird little giggle thing and just kept running. And it had like a little bag on its back. And then there were two security personnel that were chasing it.
Great, we've got red caps.
I didn't say it had a scythe. I said it was like a little Santa.
You said it had a red hat.
Yeah, some gnomes have red hats. They're not little red caps. It wasn't drowsed in blood. Don't mix your genres. We've already done that episode. Matthew wasn't here for it.
Tell me what to do.
I mean, I will.
You're not the GM of me.
But I am.
Wait. Damn it.
Phelan will just kind of look over you. You did see that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, this is...
It's just getting silly.
Yes, I'm afraid I don't really have any particular reference for this level of madness, I guess would be the correct word for it. Chaos.
Neither do I.
I must say I dislike it immensely. When there's an enemy in front of you, at least know where you stand. But in these situations, it's hard not to feel powerless.
What are those, like, dog things that Klingons have? Targs?
Targs.
Yeah, targs.
As if summoned out of the ether, you're walking towards that same corridor where you see, turning around and running the other way, the two same security personnel. They're like, crap. Rounding the corner is the biggest, meanest, gnarliest looking targ that you have ever seen in your life. It rounds the corner. It's got its weird little tusks. It's weird little growling. It's like dripping with drool. And it looks down the hallway. It's about 10 meters away from you. And it does that thing like animals do when they're about to charge, where it like scrapes like a bull, the ground, the floor. And it looks like it's about to charge you, Lieutenant Phelan. What do you and Commander Stern do, please?
Stern immediately like backs up until her back hits the wall.
Boom.
She
Phelan will
do these.
Phelan will lock eyes with the Targ and will say to Lieutenant Stern, "Do not run. You will trigger its chase instinct."
I am very well aware.
And it lets out this like horrific howl that echoes down the hallway, and it charges towards the pair of you. Running, fangs, tusks, drool. This one's got spikes. I don't know why. Just spikes are cool. All right. And it's
Why not?
rushing towards you.
Phelan will try and stand his ground and will shout in Klingon, just stop, sit.
I love it. Give me a present security difficulty of 2.
Security.
Roll an intimidate check.
All right. Threat awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a 1. Do I want to use a momentum?
Ooh. Do you want to give me a threat to reroll?
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to take that threat. I'm going to increase your complication range 19 to 20. What do you think of that?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah?
No.
You
Fairly
only reroll
predictable
1,
of
so
you.
just reroll the
Sure.
1. Just reroll the
Oh.
1 die.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. Been a while since we played.
1 d20. And
Hey, there it is. So the target's rushing. As it's rushing, you scream stop. It comes to a halt. And the moment it comes to a halt, it transforms before your very eyes into none other than Dr. Harak.
Lieutenant Stern, I believe this is now your within your
Problem.
Yeah, we were thinking it. We were all thinking it.
Harak kind of just looks around and says, "Why is Harak not as hungry as usual?"
Oh God, who did he eat?
Let's get you back to the sick bay.
Rock coughs, and a couple of goose feathers come out of his
Oh,
mouth.
thank God. Who were the
Question is,
geese?
who were the geese? And on that note, I think this is a great moment for us to take a quick 5 to 10 minute break. Let everyone go use the restroom, grab a drink of their choice, and we'll come back for part 2 of our session 1 of season 2 of Star Trek Erebus. It's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's gotten a little weird. But weird is good. Weird is fun sometimes. So we'll be right back. We'll be right back here momentarily. Stick around, and thanks for being cool, people. Thanks for just being great.
Thanks for being you.
Thanks for being you. We'll be right back, everybody.
gold.
3, 2, 1.
There's
jam.
gold in
Ba-dum,
these
ba-dum,
black and white
ba-dum,
holes. There's gold. There's tachyons.
There's tachyons in them there stars.
Can we
Ooh-wee.
turn
Wait,
this
no,
into
no.
just us?
Hang on.
Like, forget
Appropriate for the
looking
Cowboy Bebop reference.
for a cure. Now we're just looking for gold.
We're looking for tachyon gold. Gold and tachyon.
There's coffee in that. Below.
There it is.
Wow.
Girl.
Wow. I don't even. What is this? Well, welcome to season 2. I guess this is the joke
Who knows
season,
what this is?
which is great.
It's a
So we last
fever
left off our
dream.
intrepid crew of the USS Erebus, lost slightly far away from where they were, but they have a general idea of how to get back. You guys had discovered that there were these strange sort of waves that were crashing into the ship. You were being dragged under, and this was increasing with intensity as time went on of these strange phenomenons. Different members of the crew turning into other creatures, power conduits turning into screaming goats, flocks of geese running around. There were penguins. There's a couple of other aliens that I don't have names for. We'll call one the Grimgrax. There were some Dagalags. There were also some Mipaloops. And there was also the occasional...
Nipple what?
Nabogoops. And Nagobogoops. That's
Don't
what
worry
they're
about
called.
it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
It's
it.
not... Yes, but not Krieger waves. That is correct. Not Krieger waves. But all of this is going on. Luckily, through the quick thinking of Shaz, he was able to analyze the data and figure out how you could potentially give the ship some ballast and ride the waves versus crashing through them, which would likely lessen, not completely eliminate, but lessen the intensity of these changes. There were also several members of the crew that aged so rapidly that every bone in their body broke. So you've got your hands full, Lieutenant Commander Stern.
Did they stay broken when they turned back?
They did.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like entire body is just broken.
I've
And
got
they're-
Rice Krispies on my bed.
Yeah, they're like,
Ugh.
this one, he's just a man there's just a man in the medical bay screaming, "Ah, my bones!" And, yeah, it's bad. And the whole while, your alien companion is still sedated.
Oh, good.
Still sedated.
Good.
He is
Good.
knocked out. And
Good.
is mumbling something to himself. But we don't know what it is because he speaks a weird, strange alien language that the Universal Translator struggles with. So, how would we like to proceed, crew? I'm gonna brush my beard really quick. Very relaxing.
Mm.
Well, we need to get those tachyons.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do the ballast thing. It's just, oh my god, it's you guys, floaties.
You're gonna put floaties on the nacelles?
Yeah, you put floaties on the
So
nacelles. We're just gonna-
funny you should ask. I was thinking about doing that, of like having floaties appear in the nacelles. We're not going to do it now because you thought of it and I didn't, and I'm spiteful like that.
The inner tube with the duck
Yeah,
like head on it.
just around that like
Yes.
neck part of the ship.
Yep.
That's
Just
we're
under
not
the
doing
saucer.
that. That's not
That's
happening.
cute.
That's too
It's under the
silly.
sauce.
It's a little cute though. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. So you guys are able to. You have a theory of how to set the ship up to do this. We are going to need some checks to go ahead and do this. I will need a control science check from Matthew to basically break the data down to where it's able to be, I suppose, translated, so that then Lieutenant Commander Flitz can go ahead and remodulate the shields with a control engineering. Mr. Shaz, let's have you make a control science difficulty of 2.
All right. Let's see.
Yes, you can use your testing a theory.
Oh, that's right. Actually, so I get. I'll roll 4 dice for that.
Yeah, of course.
So control science.
Yeah.
And a focus of subspace dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right on the nose. I like that. Beautiful. 1 momentum. Very good. Very good. Shaz. Good job. Flitz, your turn. I'm going to need a control engineering difficulty.
Maybe reason.
No, this is a control. This is a control one. You're actually controlling the deflector dish. So
Is it reasonable that it's a control check?
You could ignore that question, and we're gonna move on.
It's a
with him making the
reasonable
check.
request.
Oh my stars! You guys.
How
Like a
many
threat.
how many successes do I need?
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and spend four of my threat to increase your complication range to 16. 16 to 20. Because you just had to get funny
Nope.
with me.
It's no big deal.
That's a fair cop. It is.
How many successes do I need?
You need 3.
3. All right. Well, I am going to use our 1 momentum.
Yeah,
Nah, don't do that. I'm kidding. Absolutely use it. Yes.
How much threat you want to give me?
I'll give you 2 threat.
Yeah, you will. Give me some of that threat back. There it is.
Let's see.
Why am I so antagonistic today? I don't. What is wrong?
Because you're
angry.
you're feeling
Pent up for months.
yeah.
Yeah, you're happy. That's why you're.
Is
This
that
is
why
this is
I'm in a
you when you're
good
happy.
mood?
Yeah.
Okay. How about my focus of theoretical physics? The
Yeah,
Regent
absolutely.
class.
Yeah, 100%. Either of those would work for sure. Oh, in the clutch.
I'll buy that for $1.
That is one complication. That is one complication. That is one complication. Blitz. You just gained the crew 3 momentum. As it's happening, though, Shaz, you are reading the waves, feeding Lieutenant Commander Flitz the data necessary for him to make the shield modulations. You ever heard of a rogue wave? The rogue waves. Massive buildups of waves from storms that just are stories high, that can just travel distances, great distances across the ocean, and can just crash into ships and completely obliterate them. All right?
I played Assassin's Creed 4.
Oh, that's fun. Do they have those in that? I've never played the one.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to play, mainly for the sailing, but I digress. All right, so there is a rogue wave of this weird distortion of subspace that crashes into the Erebus. As it happens,
Everyone on the ship.
all of the power goes out for a moment. The entire bridge goes dark. And as the power comes back on, Drew, I'm about to do something to you.
Yeah.
That
right.
I need you to just trust me. And I'm going to trust you as a role player. As the power comes back on, Lieutenant Commander Flitz's complexion has a little bit more pinkish hue to it. His eyes are kind of like a hazel-looking color. And he looks sweaty. Flitz, you are human. And everything hurts and smells weird.
That is the human experience.
It do be.
Ah! The hell is going on? Why does everything hurt? Bronson? Why does everything hurt?
Bronson looks over and goes, she was on the bridge with you. She's like, record route. Captain? Flitz is human?
Oh, fuck no. Captain, I don't like it.
All right, Commander, I need you to calm down. It's really... Are you He's really sweating a lot.
Like, I'm talking like just like patches.
It's really hot, and my stomach hurts.
A flood
And,
of
like,
emotion. A flood.
There's
of
a
emotion.
lot of things going on in my head, and they
So
all
J-
they all just want to come out, and it's making my stomach
GM.
hurt.
Dr. Dodding's on the bridge and sedates him.
Oh my god.
Dr. Dotting is just, is that a solution to
he's
all
just going
medical
around.
problems?
Yeah.
Why
No,
the
it's
fuck
just
is he there?
That's his solution to like people talking too much.
All right, time to shut up now.
You know what? You know what?
No.
You know what? Flitz. You know what, Flitz? Give me a presence and give me a fitness security check, please.
Come on, let's go. I want to see red. I want to see some red.
I'm gonna use a momentum there. I don't think any of my focuses apply.
He's so afraid of failure, this guy.
All right, I just needed one success, so that's fantastic. You remain conscious for some reason.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Pure adrenaline.
Dotting accidentally had the hypospray set to epinephrine.
He's
just jacked up now.
I can feel the juices in my brain.
No,
I think I can hear them squirting.
Don't use those words.
Is
That's the same sentence.
Is this what an endocrine system feels like?
I don't know because I can't feel mine.
You can't feel yours? I can feel everything.
Oh boy.
Or at least it did until that
the captain's gonna tap his combat to just say, bridge to sick bay.
My bones!
Medical emergency.
Oh god, it's all of my bones!
Is everybody getting affected by weirdness?
Nope, just Flitz.
Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
What?
Talking to the GM.
Because he rolled a 19 and the complication range was 16 to 20. That's what I said. It's very obvious why I did this.
He did say that.
I mean, I'm a man of my word.
I'm uncomfy now.
You've been summoned, Lieutenant Commander Stern.
She was like in the middle of surgery, so she's just gonna like pass it off to another medical
professional
surgeon. And
Harak, you're up.
Go.
Oh, that's some bad news for you.
No, this is
Harak is not allowed to do surgery after the last barbecue.
This is a good time for Harak to do surgery. He's not as hungry as he normally is. This is good.
Oh.
It's true.
All right, well then I'll have I'll have Lieutenant Windsor or like supervise while he's doing that.
Sure.
All right. I'm on Vive.
I just picture like was no, you see Harak's like
Yeah.
no.
She's got a spray bottle off to the side. She's just like no.
As soon as he realized that there are boneless humans, he's got like big things of like ranch sauce and barbecue and sour.
Boneless human.
Have you not been reading the Discord?
I have. It's just
okay.
Just to hear him say it. Oh my god.
Man. We come in spicy too.
Huh.
All right, so on my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if I was in the middle of surgery and now medical emergency on the bridge, my uniform has probably got blood on it. Here to spread that. Let's go.
It's a reasonable.
Yeah.
Reasonable assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're gonna arrive on the bridge.
Cleanliness who? We don't know.
Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just walking around.
So, Lieutenant Commander Flitz, how are you feeling as a human? All right.
After the hyper spray, I'm as right as the mail.
Right as the mail. Okay. Is the mail right?
Everything hurts, but I'm not panicking anymore.
Okay.
I'm still sweating profusely.
Yeah.
And it does not smell good.
Okay.
And he keeps like getting distracted, but he's trying to like perform his duties.
Bronson is next to you and is trying to help as best she can, but she's a little lost as well. But Lieutenant Commander Stern, you're going to arrive on the bridge, and you are going to see Lieutenant Commander Flitz is a person.
He was always a person.
A real human being. Let me finish what I was saying. It wasn't being offensive.
No.
This crew, I swear, so sensitive.
Blows up the ship. We're done.
He's a real boy now. Thank you, Lovecraft. He's a real boy. What's the battle plan, Lieutenant Commander Stern?
I quickly check out the bridge, triage, like make sure nobody else is dying.
Commander Flitz seems to be having some sort of existential crisis.
Aren't we all? And
I don't think it's very existential at all.
Pull my my medical tricorder out.
Okay.
And take his readings.
So, give me a control medicine.
Dr. Dotic, why are you on the bridge?
Difficulty of 0.
Was in the neighborhood.
We need you down back in the sick bay.
Okay. Don't, whatever you do, don't sedate him again.
Again? My God, what did you do?
He gave me a hyper spray. It was great. I can think now.
It was 40 cc's of isopropylene. And
Get off the bridge.
Yes.
What am I rolling?
Control medicine, difficulty of 0. Just gonna give you guys some momentum.
Something medicine.
Control.
Control medicine.
Yes, my friend.
Okay.
Control the heck out of that medicine.
Hell yeah. Get it.
I'll do that. Okay. Emergency medicine as a focus.
Sure.
I'll allow
it. Let's stack them up. Nice. 3 momentum back. You guys are at 5. So, your tricorder is reading him as being, as Lovecraft put it in the chat, a real boy. Flesh, blood, bones. He has bones. He's not a boneless human. Harak would be disappointed. But he is a full-blown humanoid. What is different is that you are also reading that there are swarms of microscopic nanites running through his body. So it's almost as if he's like a hybrid, right? So he's human, but he's also got some like nanotechnology running through him. Flitz, mechanically, this is going to allow you to still use your positronic brain and some of your android-like abilities. I don't want to gimp your character, but I want this to be more of a flavor for the roleplay for you versus just being like, hey, you're a regular dumb human. Good luck with that. All right. I said no offense.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Oh, well then take offense.
Like actually a lot of offense.
Actually, you know what? You're right. A lot of offense. There it is.
Oh, the offense.
So, otherwise, though, he's perfectly healthy. He probably needs some deodorant. I mean, real talk.
Yeah.
Sweating a lot.
A lot.
Dear God. Here's a bucket.
Dear God.
Just like he keeps wiping his hands on his like shirt
Super
and there's like
clammy.
obvious like
So clammy.
so clammy.
Appreciate it.
Why is everything so wet?
Why is it strangely moist?
Oh.
You had to do
Star
that.
Trek, strangely moist.
Okay.
That was my nickname in high school.
Oh!
Oh. Well, besides these readings that you are not fully human or fully android, and the hypo sprays that you were given, you seem perfectly healthy. All I would recommend post haste would be to take a shower. Use a water ration. and soap.
I don't have time for this. I'm trying to modulate the deflector shield. It does smell really bad though.
Yeah.
So bad. I'm sorry.
You could just, I guess, just breathe through your mouth for right now.
I can taste it. Oh god, I can taste it.
There's no helping him, Captain. He's
Maybe
Hey.
Harak should amputate. There it is.
oh,
So,
Harak wouldn't go
To
3 feet.
reel us
Wouldn't
back a
go
little
near
bit,
this.
to reel us back a little bit from our silly here. The shields are modulated, and that rocking, those waves that were crashing into the vessel, have since subsided. And the strange occurrences, there's the occasional, something turns into something else, but it's all very mundane things. A tricorder for a moment is a pencil, or it's a strange alien plant, and then it turns back to tricorder. But those have become very seldom. They're now not coming in these 3-second waves. They're coming in more in like 30-minute increments. So something will change, and then 30 minutes later it'll change back, but it's very mundane things. No major systems are being affected. You are making your way in the direction of the black hole. It takes you several hours, actually roughly about 10, to get to where you're trying to go with relation to this black hole. And as you get closer and closer and closer, you get close enough to where you can actually bring up the black hole itself on the main view screen and get a visual glimpse of this phenomenon. Now, has anyone ever seen an artist's rendition of a black hole? You have this sort of ring around the black hole. You can see.
Yeah, I just made one
a
earlier.
black sphere.
I've all seen Star Trek.
No, you didn't. It doesn't exist. And if you ever bring it up again, I will kick you. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, geez, that's what that was?
It's so stupid. All right.
Okay.
It's a
It
reference.
was a
to
long
something.
story from a really stupid
It's not
joke
that
before
long
you
of a
signed on.
story.
We don't have time for that.
Nobody has time for that. But anyway, so you guys can see a visual image of the black hole, white hole, whatever you want to call it. So to describe it to you, imagine as if a sphere was cut in half. The two halves were circular on the outside. They then were flat, but then had little divots that came to a little point as such. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw this for you on the. I'm going to draw this for you. I want to give you a visual representation of what this looks like, so you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about. So the black hole kind of looks like you got this. You got this. It kind of does like one of these. It does one of these. Right? And then circling around it, there is that ring of matter and energy around this black hole.
The accretion disk.
The accretion disk. Thank you. Yes, the accretion disk. All right.
I'm going to go ahead to see something.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm dragging you guys over to it right now.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Kind of looks like this.
Ah, okay.
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 All right.
Kind
Kind of looks like this.
Wu-Tang Clan
In the
looking.
center of it, there is, I know, crazy,
Oh my gosh.
what appears to be a small structure. So it's as though the black hole is broken in half, and you can see that every 3 seconds, roughly, it flickers for a moment to where it is this black, dark black hole being sucked in. Then it blinks, and it seems to kind of flash white, and then it blinks back. The energy readings from this are off the charts. I mean, completely off the charts. This thing appears to be changing the very fabric of space. It is for lack of a better phrase, terraforming space and space-time around it and attempting to turn it into something different. These are all the things that you can now see, Shaz, as you've gotten close enough to it. It appears, though, to be malfunctioning. Hence the flickering. Now, I want you guys to have a moment, now that I've described it, to interact with this scene, ask questions, make checks, figure out how you'd like to proceed.
Thanks, we hate it.
Why?
Am I still human?
Oh, yeah.
You still stink.
Yeah, terribly.
Oh God.
Yeah.
How do you how do you deal with this? So much damn stress and these hormones. I can feel them. Why is everything always so goddamn weird?
You swear a lot more now that you're not an android.
Yeah, well, I sweat a lot more too.
Forgive me, but if I understand my Starfleet history correctly, wasn't the first android officer in Starfleet almost obsessed with becoming human? Aren't you realizing an ancient dream of your people?
First of all, my people.
Yes. I'm
Did you just
those are my people.
Did you just assume there's different androids are into different things? They never wanted to be human.
Well, I wouldn't want to be human either, so I can understand that impulse.
Captain, if there's nothing
Thank
else,
you.
I'm gonna go back to my sick bay.
To be fair, I think that 5 out of 6 bridge officers concur with me.
Well, Commander Stern, yes, maybe yes.
Oh, pink and squishy.
The pinkness
then
is rather disturbing,
Stern
isn't
leaves.
it? It's the least appealing
Stern
facet
just
of their
exits.
nature.
She does. She's just like.
The whole bridge crew's like shitting on humans.
Yeah.
The turbo lift doors open and
Like, what I will say for humans, they make excellent target practice.
And Stern comes back and was like, fucking go.
turbo lift doors open. Dodg's standing there with the hyperspray. He's like,
You're talking shit.
Executive
I
producer.
also don't like it when
So-
you point out the truth.
Another human trait.
All right, we've derailed this for long enough.
As long as you guys are having fun, that's all that matters. That is literally all
Somebody
that
put
matters.
another one of my officers on the bridge who's not a human. Literally all of them.
See,
No-
Ensign
no one else-
Devereaux-
No one else is human.
See,
You
Ensign
get,
Devereaux might be on the bridge, but he's not human. He's French.
My God.
Oui, oui.
Nah, he's not French. He's Quebecois.
We're
Not
definitely.
Oh, why would you say something so insulting?
I'm an insulting guy. What can I say?
So, tell me about
Yes.
this structure.
Can I take any readings of said structure now that I understand, presumably, its purpose?
You may.
Right? What will that be?
That will be a control science difficulty normally of 2. There are a lot of strong gravitational forces, so it's going to increase that to a 3. She just takes out her headphones. It's like, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going home.
She can't handle us anymore.
Humans, right?
Well, it's definitely
Or
artificial in nature, and the way that it has split this black hole into 2 half spheres, and it appears to be drawing in, almost as though, like, at the center of where the matter would, get shrunken to an infinitesimal small amount, as the gravitational tides of it pull matter into the smallest form that it can be and destroy it, or do whatever it does in a black hole. We don't know.
Singularity.
It's the singularity, right? It almost like it's almost like the singularity itself is been given structure, but you don't know what it is because you failed your check.
No, I thought it was a difficulty 2. Oh, it was difficulty 3?
3, yeah.
Ah.
tiny.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would determination that then.
All right, fair enough. Roll your 2 dice.
Thank you.
It's actually, I think, oh yeah, you just re-roll however many,
However many
you
you
want,
want.
right?
Yeah. I love this system. I really do. All right, whatever. You made it. You get a momentum. Look at you, fancy pants. So you recognize that for what it is. You had a theory about this earlier, Shaz, that it might have been something to do with the Centaurum. This is it's one of those tesseract like structures.
Oh, we get a momentum when we fail a task.
You do.
Oh, you didn't fail.
You
Never
shouldn't
mind.
fail.
Right.
Yeah, I have backup plans.
You recognize it as a tesseract, and it is at this moment where you seem to start to be able to formulate what this is. You also can ask an additional question. I'll feed you what information you get. This is literally a massive space terraformer. It's designed to change the very fabric of space, the planets, the stars, into something different. But again, this one is malfunctioning. What questions do you have for me?
Given what I have seen of it, what is it attempting to terraform this region of space into based on its effects?
Do you remember that pocket dimension that you guys were in?
Mm-hmm.
It's attempting to turn each of the systems that are rotating around it into its own little pocket dimension. Basically rip them from this area of space and turn them into probably some sort of honeycomb-like structure, much like that ship or like swarm of ships, that station you had run into. It's literally trying to take the matter of this area and change it into that. This is likely designed to turn this area of space into something that the Centaurum would find habitable and more approachable for them.
Captain, it seems as if we may have encountered the gestational form of the tesseract structure that we encountered some months ago.
Can you elaborate? How does it function?
Apparently, this is some sort of advanced terraforming system that is designed to collect matter, energy, anything within a region of space, and then convert it into a subspace honeycomb, an almost infinite series of them, yoking them together into one of those tesseract fields that we had encountered previously. The engineering on display is, once again, beyond our ability to fathom.
It's wild.
Human Flitz is funny.
Apt, if inelegant.
Yes, the mind boggles. Commander Flitz, I hate to ask, but would it be too much of an imposition for us to begin harvesting those tachyons?
Not at all. I mean, it's what it's what we're here for.
That is correct, yes. Could you maybe get up off the floor and take care of that?
It's nice down here. Okay, fine. He stands up and he's like, "Oh God, my back! Oh, my knees! What? How do you do this?" And he like grumbles off the bridge.
We don't really have a choice.
Well, it sucks and I hate it. And the turbulence doors close.
I'm not in any sort of chronic pain though. I don't.
No, how did he manage to injure both his knees and his lower back in the span of only a few hours? It's quite remarkable.
He's not young.
Throwing it back.
Throwing it back. That's funny. Take it back now, y'all. Dun 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 dun. All right, moving on.
Let's be twerking, man.
Captain, it strikes me that we may have a unique series of opportunities here. Given that the subspace honeycomb that we encountered was, well, variably vast, pieces of it could enter from the subspace honeycomb or from subspace almost anywhere. We might be able, if we corrected and redirected whatever malfunction has caused this, and he just sort of gestures out towards the view screen where we see the impression of the black hole filtered through sensors, through the gravimetric distortion and the like, because it's not really visible, it's absorbing all light. We might be able to perhaps use this to pop into subspace in one location relative to normal space, and then pop out of it tens of thousands of light years away.
Fascinating. Do you believe that we could affect this change in a controlled manner?
I don't believe anything at this point. I think that what we need to do is first ascertain the cause of this malfunction, and then investigate the facility itself, along with, if not our chief engineer, then a contingent of engineers to replace him, if you don't believe that he is capable.
Well,
oh, he would kick your ass right now if he was still here.
Well, but his knees hurt and his back hurts. So he ain't kicking nothing.
Plus, Stern's already in first place, like first in line.
Do you believe we could safely reach the structure to affect these repairs?
So GM, what I'm going to do is I'll spend that the advantage that I got from using my rapid hypothesis to essentially create the advantage that I have successfully mapped out the interferometric patterns of the oscillations, such that we could wedge a transporter beam through the sort of the moment when it reaches that null point between the white hole / black hole, or the midpoint of its oscillation.
I want you to imagine, much like the shoreline, where you have like a pier that comes out and it creates a channel that goes into the harbor. You've mapped out the moment that the waves kind of crash into that, where you could put your beam, a tight beam, through it, and you get a full scan of the station. It is indeed a station, not unlike the one that you saw inside the Tesseract. It's probably a very similar, like in that kind of cathedral style, based on the readings that you get through it. So it's a very similar sort of structure, right? And you could do a tight beamed transport and take a team to the structure and begin analysis of it.
I believe it would be fully possible for either the commander or Lieutenant Phelan, perhaps, to lead an away team. We need an adept transporter operator, but it's possible.
Well, Lieutenant Phelan, in your opinion, is Commander Flitz fit for an away mission?
Are you asking the first officer?
No, I'm asking Lieutenant Phelan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I thought you said.
Basically, I would say no. However, mentally, he was probably our best shot unless we attempt to awake our passenger in medbay.
He may be able to perhaps shed some light on what's going on. Let's go and speak with him. Dr. Chithane, Lieutenant Phelan, come with me to sickbay, please. And he'll give the...
Lieutenant Commander Stern, you get back to sickbay. You're checking on all your patients. And you realize, Lieutenant Commander Stern, that your alien patient, he's gone.
What's his name?
His name is something
Ilik, something like that.
Iwik.
Iwik. IWIK. Iwik.
Okay. Computer, what is the location of Iwik?
Main engineering.
Taps comm badge. Strange is the captain, and no, cancel that. Stern is security.
Security.
It seems that our guest has made his way down to engineering.
Understood. I will have an officer escort him to where he is needed. I will, yeah, Phelan will then bring up a couple of, let's see, who would the nearest security officer be?
Who do you want it to be?
Got a roster.
You got a roster, baby bird. You tell me.
True. All right. Let's roll me a d5 and see.
You could always bring over Lieutenant Jenkins. No, don't bring him over. I want it to be one of the players' characters.
Let's see. Let's go with Cartwright.
Cartwright. Nice.
Again, there you Hydran devil, you.
Ensign Cartwright.
There's a brief pause, and then tap on the comm badge. Yes, sir. How may I be of assistance to you today?
Report to main engineering. Find our guest, Mr. Iwik, and please escort him back to sick bay, if you would please.
Of course, sir. And if he is disinclined to accompany me to sick bay?
Inform him that it is not a request.
That would certainly be the appropriate and polite thing for me to do, quite to just indicate that to him. But what if he continues to refuse?
You are versed in ways of non-lethal escalation.
Oh, absolutely, sir. I can subdue him effortlessly. I find that you bipeds are quite distable with only 2 legs. It's really, you topple over very easily.
Minimum necessary force, Ensign.
Of course, sir. Cut right out.
And Cartwright heads down to engineering. You know, like in science bays and like engineering bays, they have like the emergency showers in case you get like chemicals on you. Yeah, Flitz is under one of those right now. Just like soap it up in like one of the little side rooms. And standing like just outside of that room, doors open, you know, you've got a little curtain closed around you, is Iwik, who is like aggressively sniffing the air and has this look on his face like, what the hell is that smell? Is anyone smelling that? Is anyone else smelling that? It smells, it's very pungent. It burns the nostrils, as it were. It's very aggressive. And you hear Bronson being like, "It's nothing." Also, why are you here? And you're not supposed to be here. You should be in, I believe, medical. You're not authorized. How did you even get into engineering? And that's when Cartwright shows up in engineering.
Yeah, so Cartwright waddles in, and just very briefly, he is a rather beefy 5'3" alien, blue-skinned. 3 arms, 3 legs, 2 eyes on stalks, an elongated snout that is tipped with almost like talon-like tooth protrusions or tusks that click back and forth like the mandibles of an insect.
Tusks.
He sort of waddles in.
Yeah.
Holds up one meaty finger. Hello, sir. Might I request that you accompany me to sickbay? You seem to have gotten lost.
Oh, of course. I was a bit bored there, and I ended up wandering off. I've been stuck there for what feels like a lifetime. Not exactly a lifetime. Maybe a short lifetime. There are species that only live for a few days. Actually quite interesting species. And he starts to go on a tangent about some weird species that only lives for like 3 days, but they have very vibrant, passionate lives. They're dead now because his people murdered them, but they were very interesting.
And Cartwright, as much as he is capable of doing so, is just sort of like smiling and nodding throughout quite politely. He doesn't even force him out of the room. He's just like,
he just follows you.
That's so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. So you're gonna all end up back in medical with Lieutenant Phelan, Commander Stern, Captain Ishra, and Shaz. I believe Shaz came as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. All okay, perfect. So you all together to meet with Iwik, who is now back up on the medical bed, kind of swinging his legs ever so slightly, and just looking pleased as punch again. Ah, company. How delightful. I was wondering when you'd come visit again, Captain. I wanted to say thank you so much for saving my life. It was a complicated situation getting out of that prison. You see, I had to die to then come back to life. Well, it wasn't really exactly dead. It was more of like a stasis or some sort of coma, you could call it, I believe would be the technical term, but it's not really a coma because I was still somewhat conscious
Stern's
of
going to
things.
activate a force field around the bed that we can't hear anything outside of it.
Thank you. Now, can we repurpose one of these consoles to the external sensors? I want him to see this.
Sure. Takes a one on the left.
Right.
Take the one on the
left.
left. Sorry, old-timey prospector Stern is still stuck in my head.
I couldn't even do that. So
Sure
the
you
fact that
could.
that's happening.
Yeah, you just gotta talk like this.
Okay.
All right. That's
fine. All right, Grandma, go back to bed.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And yes, once the captain changes at the display, we'll drop the force field, and he's probably still talking.
And it was about that time that I looked forward and I said to my brother, "Wait, sorry, what did you say?"
I was saying, could you have a look at this?
A subspaciformer. Yes, I've seen them before. What of it? Well, this one appears to be malfunctioning. Wow,
yes,
that is bad. That is wow. Are these readings are these present readings or these past readings?
These are up to the minute.
Oh, the fact that this hasn't torn apart the very fabric of space and reality in this sector is, what's the term? Lucky?
Miraculous?
That's a good one. Miraculous, a miracle, even. I don't believe in miracles, though. Not very scientific,
Fair enough. But do you have sufficient engineering knowledge to help us effect repairs?
Brings his hand up to his kind of like feather-bearded chin. Gives it a quick stroke once, twice,
3 times.
3 times a weird space alien. Sadly, I do not. I was not part of the engineering guild.
All right, well, then time for the Starfleet Corps of Engineers to prove their reputation yet again.
Before we leave, the design of this, does this appear to be I don't remember the name of the Bad Centaurum.
They're the Gohad is the warlike.
Does this appear to be a design of the Gohad Centaurum?
That's a great question. Really one of the greatest questions I've heard in quite some time. I mean, really, what's the term? Top shelf as far as a question goes.
Yes or no will suffice.
No.
Very well.
You see, there are a multitude of factions inside of the Centaurum. There's the Gohad and of course the Dohad. And then there's a smattering of smaller factions that don't really have a lot of power. They vie for it from time to time, but really it seems to shift back between, well, mostly it's just the Gohad at this point. They've been murdering my faction for hundreds of years, thousands even. This is one of the what's the term I'm looking for? Anarchist factions. They don't really have a name. They're just kind of crazy. I would be very careful aboard that station. It's probably filled with fanatics.
Then Lieutenant Phelan, maybe a tactical team as well.
My thoughts exactly, Captain.
And just to confirm, Captain, these readings are current?
Yes.
We have mere hours likely before it like explodes. Just
then we had better get moving.
No pressure or anything. I just, we should either leave or fix it. Just Throwing that out in the universe.
Well, we need 3 days to harvest a necessary number of tachyons, or we aren't going anywhere.
You should fix it then.
Yes. So, shall we get to the transporter room?
Yes.
Miracle.
Who else going on this? This expedition. I have a character.
I think it would be funny for Flitz to go.
Flitz is going.
The
Yeah.
alien Iwik is going to pull Lieutenant Phelan aside. But I want you guys to have a moment to discuss, and I want to have a scene between the two of them. He'll simply, as you all turn, he'll be like, Lieutenant Phelan, if I could speak with you for a moment, just over in the corner there.
Okay.
Not sure if y'all are gonna need a doctor for this. Let's call somebody.
Should bring Siri.
I would like all of
Good.
you to be there in one of your characters or another.
Yeah. I could either be Siri or another engineer.
I do love Siri. Pretty great.
Okay.
And series was science or operations?
The operations. But she's another android.
Okay.
Sorry, she's the only android because the other one's a human. Yeah.
You're right.
There's a couple more on ship, but they're minor characters that we haven't seen yet.
Okay.
Matthew, did you want to take Shas or?
I think it would kind of depend on the captain, because Shas will inform him that given that he adheres to the Enar philosophy of pure pacifism, he would be potentially a liability if combat were to break out.
Well, Shas, I won't order you to go. If you believe it best that you stay, then I respect that.
I have no objections to going, Captain. I just don't want to be a hindrance.
You let me worry about that.
Very well. If you'll have me, I will go.
Shaz, Phelan,
All right.
Flitz, Suri. Captain, what character are you bringing?
And I'm going to activate for the second time, and I forgot to give him his bumps. But I'm gonna activate Diego Rojas, the security officer.
Diego
Nice.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So as you guys are discussing who's going, the Iwik pulls aside Phelan, and he's got a very warm, friendly smile on his face that seems to wash away, and he gets very serious. He's a very chatty sort of fellow, and he looks to Phelan. He's got his walking cane stick. He's got his hand, it's planted in front of him, and he puts his one hand on the side on his hip, and he says, Lieutenant Phelan, you've seen combat, yes, war, and the loss of comrades, brothers, sisters, those under your command in the past, correct?
I have, yes.
I want to be clear with you. What I'm about to say is not a threat. It's not even really a warning. It's simply a statement of what is likely to meet you aboard that station. The members of my species that fall into this feudalistic savagery are not to be taken lightly. They will not hesitate to not simply kill you, but to make you suffer, simply for the joy that they find in it. I ask you to be careful. When you met me on board and inside my prison, I saw something in you. I saw both a warrior spirit, but also a a poet. What you need now is not the poet, but the warrior. Leave the soft heart, though small, at home, and bring only your bloodlust. Am I making sense?
Yes. Well, a warrior does not charge blindly into death. He does not shirk what must be done. These anarchist Centaurum have not yet learned what it is to face the wrath of a Klingon.
He nods, reaches out, and pats you on the shoulder. Good luck then. Turns and goes back to his
Phelan
bed.
will just kaplach.
Klingon, and he walks away from you in that moment. So we begin to get this away team ready, and I'd like to know what are you guys bringing? What's the battle plan?
Type 3 phaser.
Very good.
Bring in a phaser rifle.
Very good. Type 3 phasers. Very, very good. Very good.
Phaser in my right hand, mechleth in my left.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic.
An engineering kit, a Type 2 phaser, a tricorder, and some spray deodorant.
Yeah, Bronson, there's going to be a scene with Bronson, like, showing you how to apply it. She's like, it's just spritz, and it's just spritz. And if you're feeling cheeky, spritz, whatever you need to do.
It's more than a spritz, bud.
All right,
Oh,
just
man.
whatever you need to do. All right, and also...
Liberal. Yeah, man,
he's literally standing in main engineering, like, buck naked.
Oh.
She's going to help him get clothed again. Yeah.
Like, no idea.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, hey now. We're just the censor
What?
bar.
I'm sorry. I forgot about
All
those.
right, yeah, clothing is good. Go ahead and
I'm
replicate
sorry.
you a new uniform, sir.
I removed mine years ago.
Right.
They
Okay.
kept getting in the way.
Nope, into the shower room, sir. And everyone's just like, whoa, hey, all right. All right. So we get everyone onto the transporter pad. You're preparing to transport away. You've got Shaz, who has read the readings, as it were, waiting for the moment. The transport operator is standing by. Shaz, you give him the signal. He runs his fingers up. The blue light flashes, and our credits roll on today's session. That's where we're going to end it, on a nice little cliffhanger there. I think that is a perfect moment to end it there. And I just want to say, did you guys have a good time? You're glad to be back.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Indeed.
Wonderful. I am so happy to be back with all of you. This was a heck of a lot of fun. So our next session is going to take place aboard the Centaurum subspace former. Subformer.
If I could borrow a piece of nomenclature from one of the greatest CRPGs ever,
sure.
Why not simply call it a Starforge?
Starforge. Hey, I like that. Yeah, it's a Starforge. Yeah, that's sweet. I like that. Starforge. That's cool. Cool. I like that. It's a Starforge. And you will be meeting a new group of the Centaurum, who may become some villains for you at some point. But as I always say at the end of every session, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns from the players before we get ready to wrap things up on our first episode of Season 2?
I apologize for nothing.
Nor should you. Nor should you. All right. Well, I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you so much to the players for playing. Without you guys, this is impossible, and it is an absolute joy and a pleasure to be back playing with you. I truly did miss you guys, and you guys fell right back into it. So very much well done. Thank you to the viewers for viewing. We had the chat blowing up today, so I appreciate it. Thank you for the subs and the follows as well. And as I always say, happy gaming. And this is Darewolf Done Gaming, where the dice have a story to tell, and this week it was Flitz is human. So that's good. That's very, very good.
Who are the geese?
You know what? It remains a mystery. It will always remain a mystery. Who did Harak eat? We don't know. We'll find out. But in the meantime, be well, be safe, happy gaming, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time for episode 2. Until then, take care and good night.